We'll be starting in just about a minute. Okay, I'm live streaming it on YouTube in just about a minute. Okay, there we are. Okay, I do see folks joining in. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this Veterans Day. As people are joining in, I am going to oops. Okay. Happy Veterans Day, everyone. Okay, I'm going to get started because it's 7:01. All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know today is Veterans Day and some of you have a day off, so really appreciate that you joined us. We are live streaming, so if you have missed this meeting, this presentation, you can always watch this at your convenience on our YouTube channel. My name is Rovina Nimbalkar, and I am the Executive Director here at NAMI, Santa Clara County. And before we begin with our presentation, I am going to go over some updates at NAMI, Santa Clara County. So our helpline is up and running 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, by phone and email. And also we have walk-in from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Or you can even call to set up an appointment if you want to come at a different time. After our family support is available on evenings and weekends as well. Our support groups are all listed on our website. Our website is namisantaclara.org, and they're offered over Zoom as well as in person. So you can take a look at our website to see what works the best for you, whether a remote support group works for you or an in-person. So you can take a look at that. Our education classes, such as family to family, familiar to familiar, peer-to-peer, persona to persona, peer to provider education. For you to get on the interest list, please call the helpline number 408-453-0400 and select option 1. Most of the programs, the next classes, the next sessions are going to begin in January, so in 2026 of January. NAMI Basics, as well as the NAMI Homefront, they're on demand on our website, and you can take it at your own pace. So the next FaithNet MH101 is going to be on Thursday, November 20th at 11:30 a.m. If you would like some details, you can call a helpline number. Again, the number is 408-453-0400, option 1, and you can get more information or even check out our website. Our website should have information as well. The community peer program continues to match via hospitals as well as self-referrals. So if you are interested in the community peer program, you can fill up the form on our website and look under programs, then look at community peer program. Our NAMI Walk Silicon Valley took place on October 4th, and I'm hoping that most of you attended it, and it was a very successful event. We've been sending pictures and videos, and we've actually also uploaded the video of the program itself on our YouTube channel. So please do take a look at it. But I do want to mention that we are continuing to fundraise until December 1st. So we still have a few weeks before we can meet our goal. So I would highly recommend if you check out our website, which is namiwalks.org/Silicon Valley. And you can continue to fundraise. There are some amazing recognition awards. If you raise a certain amount, you get some really good NAMI Walk swag sent to you at your doorstep. All the information is on the website, so please help us meet our goal. Another thing that I want to add before I introduce our speaker for tonight is that every year NAMI Santa Clara County donates over 1,000 gifts during the holidays to individuals who are living in the board and care. And a lot of times there is nobody else celebrating the holidays with them, and these gifts really bring out a cheer to them. We usually spend over $10,000 for these gifts, and I'm just going to put in a pitch for to do some fundraising. If you would like to donate some, even if it's $10, a $10 donation would mean that you could bring a smile to a individual in a board and care. So to donate, please go to our website and click the button donate. Okay, so for the reason why you're all here tonight, today's meeting will be discussing the mission of the United Effort Organization, which is to help people experiencing or at risk of homelessness move forward to self-sufficiency and find safe homes in our community, which is Santa Clara County. With over 37 years in medical devices and diagnostic industries and more than 15 years in community service, our speaker for tonight, Sherry Kipp, is passionate about strengthening connections between organizations, clients, and stakeholders. And since joining the United Effort Organization in 2023, she's volunteered on site and at outreach events, helping clients navigate and housing applications. Her focus is on raising awareness of the challenges and resilience of people experiencing homelessness and fostering community collaboration to create a lasting impact. I would like to welcome our speaker for tonight, Sherry. And I just want to mention one thing is that feel free to put in your questions in the Q&A section here. And also you can put your comments in the chat, and then we will go over all the questions towards the end of the presentation. So thank you so much again for attending, and I'm going to pass it on to Sherry now for her presentation.
Great. Thank you so much, Ravina, for that very warm welcome. And I want to thank NAMI for inviting me to share what I'm very excited about and very passionate about, which is the work of the United Effort Organization. So I'm just pulling up the screen, and I want to make sure, just because I think you might be able to see it, let's make sure that it is up and that you can see our logo at the top.
It's still loading. Now we can see
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
wonderful. So a slight delay there. So yes, as Ravina said, we are a nonprofit located in Mountain View. We serve Santa Clara County, and I want to talk a little bit about our organization, our clients, and how we help navigate housing and benefits through one-on-one support, publicly shared tools, and resources in Santa Clara County. And I will have our contact information here at the beginning. It's also on the last slide, but if you or someone you know is unhoused or at risk of losing their home, please send them our way. Volunteers can help navigate a very complex system of benefits and applications for housing. I often say, and this is Sherry talking, that if somebody becomes unhoused, you suddenly feel as if you need a PhD in being homeless to try to get out of it. It is very daunting. And that's why we're here, is to try to help with that. So there's several ways to reach us. Obviously, there's information on our website, information or info at theunitedeffort.org. There's a phone number, 650-996-9607, and another email for help at theunitedeffort.org. So I'm going to cover our mission and values, who we are, a little bit about our clients, as well as just reviewing what we believe makes us unique in our approach, and very specifically, what is the service process, and what are the tools and the resources and the training that are involved. And finally, I'll touch on what our impact has been in Santa Clara County. So as Ravina mentioned, our mission is to help people experiencing or at risk of homelessness move towards self-sufficiency and find a safe home in our community. All of our tools are focused on Santa Clara County. The values that we believe are important for us as volunteers to accomplish this is dignity, collaboration, and persistence, which we have seen leads to empowerment. So by dignity, I literally mean we train our volunteers and are very focused on making sure we look everybody in the eye. We use their name. We treat their privacy as we would our own privacy. We collaborate with them. We also collaborate with countless other organizations in Santa Clara County. And I think what defines us the most is our persistence, that we try to look for a solution, even if everybody has told a client no. We look for ways to overcome barriers because there is a way. And as long as the client works with us and we keep digging, we are very persistent to find a solution. And that really empowers us as volunteers to know that we are helping, but it also, we've seen so many clients grow as they work through this. So who we are as a group, we're a pretty diverse team. We all come together because we're passionate about helping our unhoused neighbors, which helps our community. And we're persistently seeking the ideal solution for each client. And I say that because it may be obvious to you, but it is different for every client. Um, the solution is never the same. There are very few cookie cutter approaches. And as individuals, we have backgrounds in teaching, law, engineering, homemakers, finance, business. There's clinicians, and we have students as well as former and current clients who we are most proud of, people who we helped. Typically, once they get themselves on the feet, we have a lot of people coming back to help us. So as I mentioned, we serve Santa Clara and are very proud that the City of Mountain View recognizes us as one of the key community organizations that provides homeless services and outreach, though we do work in every city across the county. So you are probably also very aware, but what we do is navigate a complex system. The pathway to housing is very complex, and getting from, this is a tent in San Jose from a picture in early 2023, and getting from that tent or that sidewalk or wherever they are, they may be in a shelter, but getting them to their own place. And this is actually a photo of an apartment building in downtown San Jose called Solaire, where we have helped many houses, many clients get to with a huge amount of support and collaboration with the County of Santa Clara Office of Supportive Housing. But that's just one of many, but that whole path is a very challenging navigation process. There's deadlines, there's detailed applications that even if you have all your wits about you, it's daunting. I'm going to take a couple of slides just to share why we do this. And why we do this is these clients are our neighbors. They may not be living in the house or the apartment next door, but they are our neighbors in Santa Clara County, and they're facing extreme financial hardship. The pictures I'm showing you are all of clients who have agreed and signed release forms. This woman, her name is Jerry, and she had lived in her car, I think, 8 or 10 years. And she came to Hope's Corner, one of the organizations that our founders came from to create the United Effort organization. But while she was at Hope's Corner getting a warm meal, she learned more about United Effort. So this is a good example of many of our clients who worked for many years before experiencing a single bad event, which forced them to live in their cars or on the street. Our clients are also resilient, and they work hard to overcome these challenges and get back on their feet to become self-sufficient. You'll see that the gentleman in the lower right, he is reading the book called Habit, and this is from 2 years ago. He has done an incredible amount of work to help himself be lifted and to lift others. So our clients need help and support from their community. And we believe that our clients deserve the chance to have a normal life just like everybody else, and to be treated with dignity, respect, and compassion. So these are actually pictures of our two founders. This is Wei in the upper left with two clients, a mother and a son, who we helped house back in, I think it was July. And that is Claire down below. And yes, I'll move on. So we really, to be successful, none of this is a quick fix. It really involves building a trusting relationship. We have many clients who come to us many times before they actually allow us in, allow us to help them. They get to know us, they ask about us behind the scenes, and we then really want to build that trusting relationship. And there's a lot of patience, persistence, intense collaboration, and follow-up with our clients, as well as with other nonprofits and government agencies, as I mentioned. So I mentioned some of this already, what makes us different from other nonprofits that are helping unhoused people. There are so many good nonprofits in Santa Clara County, and we work with, I think, all of them, if not most of them. But it's our core values that I mentioned earlier: dignity, collaboration, and persistence. And the key here, leading to empowerment. We never look at one thing or just the one thing the client may ask us. I'll talk in a moment about the whole person approach that we take. The second thing that makes us different, and it's probably the most unique, because we are unaware of anyone else who has service tools on their website. These are self-service tools so that a client can use them themselves. I'll do a demonstration in a few moments. You could refer, you can send a link over to clients, you can help clients to use these. But one is find affordable housing. The second one is checking eligibility for various benefits. Another one is find shelter tool. And there's also a pretty detailed list of resources that our volunteers spend a lot of time trying to keep everything updated. And then the third thing is over the 5 years that we've been in existence, we really believe that we have built a lot of experience and follow-up, and we have created training documents that help our volunteers come on board, and we have also trained other organizations. So we really look at solving problems in the context of that long-term relationship. So in terms of our approach, I mentioned a couple of times that we focus on the whole person. And I'll give the example. Invariably, somebody sees us and they'll come up to us and they will say, I need housing. Can you get me in the housing queue? Well, the answer is yes. And let's get to know you to find out what else we can help with. And we know from a lot of the clients we've helped that that's not always the reaction they get. Quite often, an organization will say, okay, I'll ask you, the basic questions and we'll get you in the housing queue. And they didn't ask, are you a veteran? A very important thing to bring up, especially on Veterans Day. There are a lot of services through the VA that we can help them to access. And they come to us after talking with many organizations, and they haven't been asked that very basic question. So we try to get to know them through first taking a profile and then doing a very detailed intake that I'll talk about in a moment. I mentioned the tools on our website. They can ease the burden for people who are helping them. So other organizations, case managers with other organizations, just their family and friends can use these tools. So we make those publicly available. And then the third is mentoring. We've really built this up over the last couple of years to help mentor first on training. We've run a few customer service training. We've brought an external group in, and we pay for them to help a few of our clients at a time. And we also, over time of working with clients, we try to help mentor them. And by mentoring, sometimes that's referring them to other services. Sometimes it's going with them. Sometimes it's helping them with their resume, money help. If they say, oh, they laugh and say, I don't need any help with money, I have no money. Well, we'll talk to them about that, and we'll figure out how we can help them build up. Maybe it's building up their job, looking for a better job. Maybe it is helping them manage what little money they may get. But we really try to mentor them towards a self-sufficiency direction. So the whole person advocacy is one piece of it. You may be thinking, well, where are you finding your clients? Are they referred to us? Yes, we get a lot of them from just standing, and we see people coming for a warm meal at Hope's Corner in Mountain View, and we will, as we call it, walk the line. So one of our lead volunteers will walk through the line asking who might need help, looking for clients that may not have been with us in a while, but we know perhaps we were able to accomplish something and they didn't answer their phone, they lost their phone. So we go through and we find people, we pick up where we left off. And we do this every Saturday from 8 to 10:30 and every Wednesday from 8 till 9. We also do a lot of field outreach in collaboration with other nonprofits. For example, I split my time on Saturdays between being in Mountain View and every other week being in downtown San Jose with Neighborhood Hands, so that any people in San Jose who need help, that's become a really great resource fair for them. And we are one of the, I'll say, vendors who are there offering free assistance. With each client, we also look at how much help they need. If they come up and after, just talking with them for a few minutes, we realize that they're fairly tech savvy and they just need a direction, we'll point them in the direction, we'll show them the tools, and we're there if they run into trouble and follow up. There's a lot of people, and you're probably very familiar with this, but there's a lot of people who need a lot more help. And they might even need hand-holding. They might need a volunteer to pick them up and get them to appointments. So we really look at how much need they have, and we do our best. I won't say we can do everything. We definitely cannot, but we do our best to help them in the way that they need help. So we're really looking at what their obstacles are and what we can do to overcome those. I mean, for example, some clients, we don't need necessarily a volunteer to pick them up, but we'll send an Uber at our expense to get them from point A to point B for important meetings, appointments. We really try to instill with all of our volunteers and with the clients when they sign up with us, we ask them to please get back to us within 24 hours. We may have important news for them regarding an application. We may need to answer questions, but we really try to instill that this is a two-way street, and we need to be in contact with them fairly regularly. So I've mentioned our approach. I've mentioned a little bit of what we do. This is a little bit more of the process, and I won't get into too much detail here. I'll show you a little bit more in a moment. But at a high level, this is the most simplified, but there's a comprehensive intake where a volunteer will talk with the client. We have every client sign what's called a client engagement letter. This is what allows us to advocate on their behalf. So it is a legal document that they are willing to give us their information. In exchange, we provide them with free assistance. They can fire us at any time, and we always explain that to clients. If they don't like how we're helping, we want them to talk to us, but if they are working with other providers, we will work with anybody they want us to work with. We'll get the appropriate release of information as needed, but it's a two-way street. But that engagement letter really begins the relationship. We then set up what is called a client profile, basic contact information, where we can find them, how we can find them, an emergency contact, that type of thing. And then we start discussing foundational needs. For example, where are they sleeping right now? Do we need to get them into shelter tonight? And when I say we don't own any shelters, but we will help them with calling the Here For You hotline or find out if their needs are a little bit more unique. Maybe they need referral to domestic violence, to the women and children's shelter. So we're really trying to find what's foundational that they need help with immediately. If they've not eaten for 3 days, obviously that's one of them. The second thing we do is we check in Clarity, Santa Clara County's homeless management information system. It gives us an opportunity to know a little bit more about them if they're in there, and we'll ask them some questions based on what we see. And if we find out they're not in there, then we will work with them to make sure that they are in there so that they are known to the county for the right support. And then the third one is the longest. That would take up the entire screen if I shared everything on there. But the comprehensive planning is where we sit down and get to know them. And we tell them up front, some of the questions that we ask may seem very invasive. We ask them because we need to know how best to help them. So this is the detail that goes behind each of those steps. And I mentioned it at a very high level. I'll just focus a little bit more on the comprehensive planning here, because we do, as I mentioned, first ensure that the foundational needs are being met. And then we start creating plans or programs in our Apricot client management system. We find out what their barriers are. One of the most common barriers, I can give you an example, is they don't have enough money to pay for rent. That's where they're at. So we might try to understand whether there's, through applications, whether there's money they're entitled to, but they're not getting, whether there are jobs they could be applying for that they might be eligible for, and how we might be able to help. So we basically sit down and really try to understand what their barriers are. And it doesn't all come out in one session. It may be several sessions. We'll plan their housing roadmap. For example, do they want to stay in Santa Clara County? What cities do they want to be in? Are they willing to share apartments or rooms? We really are trying to cast a wide net because it is so difficult to find affordable housing. We then turn our attention back to what benefits we need to apply for. Some of this happens in parallel with several volunteers working with one client. Sometimes one client may only want one volunteer. We really juggle things around because we are always trying to get more volunteers. The need is so great. We monitor the progress. We collaborate when we hear that a client needs something, and either we haven't done that before or we don't have the experience. We reach out, we let the client know that we are reaching out on their behalf, and we try to get them that help. For example, we don't have anything to do with safe parking, but we know who does, and we can help them with the application, and we'll reach out directly to whoever's in charge of safe parking in their city. So I'll cover now our three main tools, because these are all openly available on our website, and they are the affordable housing tool, the find assistance programs, which is our check benefits eligibility tool, and find shelter. So I will make sure, I'm going to just, I can't necessarily see, so I'll ask Ravina to confirm. Once I click on this to do a very quick demo, if it takes you, if you can see our website, then I know it's working, and I'll proceed with the demo. If not, I'll just walk you through it on the slide. So let me know if you're seeing our website loading.
It's loading.
Excellent. So you should be seeing, it shows 558 properties. That's what you're
Yeah.
seeing?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Okay, so I'll do a super quick, and you can play on this on the website. It doesn't store any information that you enter, so you can play with this and get a feel for it. Super, super easy. And I want to highlight, this was created by one of our volunteers who led a team and got lots of input from other volunteers, but it's really a unique tool. And some of the volunteers who helped us were people who, in fact, had the lived experience of being homeless, a couple of whom were homeless at the time we built this tool. And I'm just super proud and excited at the collaboration that went into this. So you can, we always tell clients, for example, if you're looking for housing, please check every city you can. Some people may say, well, I'm in South County and I just want to focus on Gilroy, San Jose, and Morgan Hill. That's fine. Or you want to focus on North County. And, so for now, I'm going to check off as many as I can because I want to get a good feel for what's available. I'm willing to go to anywhere, but for me, it's a little harder, and I don't know anybody down in Gilroy and Morgan Hill. So I'm going to click all of the North County. I'm flexible, single room occupancy, or even a one bedroom. I'm again very open. I'm going to say waitlist open or available. You know what? I'll even click on call for availability. I'm willing to make the phone call. However, this is where it gets tough. I'm going to put in, this is actually a pretty high number for somebody who comes to us who is homeless, but it's occasional. I'm just going to put in Brett, and I could show wheelchair only if that's what I need. I'm going to be very open here. If somebody comes to me and they are looking for a specific property, they can also enter that. It obviously narrows it down quite a bit. And now I'll say update. So from 558, let's see what's available today. So yeah, very quickly it's down, but there's still a good number of properties. There's 160 properties. That's still pretty daunting. So I might go back and filter it out a little bit more and say, oh, okay, that's a bit much. Maybe I just want to focus on San Jose. But you get the idea. We can go through. Now that work is done. I mean, that would have been, without this tool, that would have been weeks, and I'm not joking, of work to just call around looking through ads either online or in the newspaper to try to find. What this does next is you still have to do the work of looking at the website and finding out how to apply. But you get the idea. This shows waitlist open, studios and one bedrooms. It doesn't guarantee that it's open. If I were to go back and say, you know what, I just want to know what's available. That's all I want. I'm going to update my results. Up, look at that. Very sad, down to 2. Donner Lofts and Borregas Court. So then I would go to the website and I would find out whether it is an online application, a print and deliver application, and just go from there. You can, as you see in the upper right, you can print all of this out. I always warn people, and if any of you are on the Santa Clara County SPN email list, I think I put this in red in some of the emails. You can print it, but it means the tool becomes static very quickly, because tomorrow you could go on and that 588 number we saw could be 490. I mean, it could be that places got taken, and then you're spending a lot of time with a piece of paper that is already stale. So the next tool I'll show you, and I will take questions at the end. I apologize. I can't see you, so I don't have, I hope that I'm covering the right information. The next tool that I'll show you is the Find Assistance Programs for You. I won't demonstrate everything here because it takes about 10 minutes or so to go through. You can see there's kind of this roadmap of 5 steps. I'll do the first couple, or I'll just go very quickly. None of the data is stored, but you can, at the end, print out the results. So that you can also print, you can keep that, you can go back and say, oh, shoot, I forgot to enter this other information, and then you should just come back to the tool and you would have to start over. But it starts here, how old are you? Oops, let me enter, I am a US citizen, so I don't want to check that. I'm not disabled. I'm not blind. I'm not deaf. I'm not a veteran. I'm not pregnant. I'm not best. There we go. None of these describes me. I can add somebody else. Maybe there's a spouse. Maybe there is an adult child. Maybe there are children. So that can be added here. And then you go through these similar questions for each person in the household. So if it's a family of 3, this section would break into 3. And I could say right now I am in a shelter and I don't know what's next for me, but that's all that I have. I do not have a stable place to live. I would consider that the shelter, but you know what? I'm going to say I live in a shelter for now. The next sections is where it gets very detailed, and the more information that can be entered, the more accurate the outcome, as with anything. So this asks where the income is coming from. And then in the next section, there's an opportunity to put dollars against that. I'm going to put a little bit of income from self-employment. I've got some disability. I've got some unemployment benefits that are coming in. And maybe, no, that's about it. And then we enter the income. And I will say $1,900 a month. How about that? And I'll just make something up here. I'm going to say 400 a month. In the last 10 years, have you worked? Yes, I have, and I've paid Social Security. And so you go through this and it goes through the existing benefits. And this is where I would check off. I'm actually getting CalFresh right now, and I'm actually getting, let me say I'm getting Medi-Cal, but I'm not getting anything else. And so it's saying that I could be getting a free phone. I could be getting Clipper cards. I could be signing up for the housing choice and property voucher, and I could get a free ID card. Well, I might say, well, shoot, I do have an ID. I really don't need that. But it gives you that overview. Okay, so for the next tool I'll show you, we have a full list of resources, and these are also updated by volunteers. To find the shelter, we have that specifically under shelter. So it's a little bit different position. Whereas we have the two tools I just showed you right at the top, we have the shelter tool under the resources. This is our newest tool. We just released this in, I think it was the end of January of 2025. And we did this because self-serving, we ourselves were having trouble just either waiting on the Here For You hotline or going through some of the other shelters, trying to find resources, finding out that there were open beds in shelters, and yet we had clients who weren't able to get in. So there were one of our university student volunteers probably spent 40 or 50 hours with several other volunteers to look at all 44 shelters across Santa Clara County, looking at publicly available information, contacting the shelters. So this does not get somebody into a shelter, I want to highlight, but it narrows down how to get into shelters that you're looking for. So we recommend that people check everything available, although again, I'll say, okay, I'm sorry, I can't get down to Gilroy, but I'm comfortable getting to all of these other. I'm looking for women featuring adults and young adults, and I can even enter a specific shelter name if I know that my friend is in one, and I'm looking for how do I get in there. And this shows that there are 3 shelters. Heart and Home Women's Cold Weather Shelter. There's the phone number. You can look at the website. And then there's the City Team Heritage Home and City Team Youth Collective. Okay, so I will go back, and I'm happy to answer questions at the end. I'm just, in the interest of time, I think I'm already over your time slot. But that was pretty much at the end. This is our 2024 impact. So I'll end on this in about another 2 minutes, but we're pretty proud of the fact that as a volunteer-driven organization, and up until earlier this year, we were 100% volunteers. Through grants, we hired a part-time admin, and 2 weeks ago, we hired our first full-time employee for benefits and services. But up until then, in 2024 was 100% volunteers. We had 595 clients across the county who we helped. 90 of them we helped with affordable housing applications. When you see this drop to 69, so 69 is more than double the number we had helped the previous year, though that is how long it takes to get people from being unhoused through all of these processes. Sometimes it can work very quickly, but not always. It's quite often that we're spending a lot of time on benefits. But we had helped 69 people into housing last year. We did over 1,000 applications, and that includes, CalFresh, Medi-Cal, GA, SSI, VTA Uplift, Caltrain, paratransit, various. We helped 40 more with job searches and 17 with homelessness prevention. We want more people to be aware of us before they become homeless, because we're becoming better able to help find resources to keep people in their home. I won't talk about the rest. You can read this. These are, aside from the KPI, these are programs that we began in 2024, the most exciting of which is our self-sufficiency program that is funded by a grant from El Camino Health. And that, I think, is everything. This slide, and I'll make sure you have the slides, summarizes our core services covering immediate needs, benefits, housing plan, and employment support. We also have a Giving Tuesday campaign. We just found out last week that a donor has offered up to 40,000, and we have one of our clients who's now a volunteer, did a little video on our website that I would love for all of you to see. Charlie is one of our lead volunteers now, and she had the experience of being homeless 5 years ago. She found us, we helped her, and now she's helping us. So let us know how we can help you, and then I'll just thank you very much for inviting me, and all of my contact and the emails. If you have any client people you're talking to who need help, by all means, please send them our way.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Let's see, we can ask for questions from everyone. Okay. So the first question I see is, first of all, thank you for the wonderful presentation. I was wondering what would qualify as being at risk?
Sorry, I put my mute on. At risk, specifically, if they have been given an eviction notice, they're definitely at risk. We would like to catch them before that. So if they have had, if their landlord or wherever they're living has told them, we don't want you here anymore, that's a perfect time to come to us. So they may not have received an eviction notice. They can come talk to us about their situation. So we're pretty open about at risk. If they have been laid off from their job and they know that they can't pay more than a couple of months' rent, definitely at risk, because it takes a long time to find affordable housing.
How does an organization that provides transitional housing get on your list?
Just reach out and let us know. We reach out to all the ones we can find publicly. We talk a lot with the Office of Supportive Housing, and they have been, those folks are all heroes if you don't work with them closely already. But they have also pointed us to a lot of organizations. Our volunteers, when they've come across opportunities, then we reach out and we add them to our website. So if you know of any, just let us know and we will talk to them and add that information.
Thank you so much for answering that question. Does anyone have any other question here? I don't see here. Let me check in the Q&A section. Or if anybody wants to ask, you can raise your hands and I can enable your mic. Okay, there's another question. I'm currently employed in a different country. Can I still come to your organization for assistance?
So all of our, that's a very good question. If the individual is employed in a different county, that it's where the individual resides. Our tools are for Santa Clara County. So if the individual is looking for help and they live in San Mateo County, we can't help them because our tools were just not developed for Santa Clara County. It took a lot of effort to develop them. We can, if they can't find help online, I think a few of our volunteers will look at San Mateo and then they'll say, okay, try this and that. But that's about the extent of it. So it's really where they reside and not so much where they're employed. We will help any resident of Santa Clara County. I'll add one more. if somebody comes to us and they're trying to move to Santa Clara County because they want to live here, and for whatever reason, then we will point them in the direction so that they can show that they can show residency in Santa Clara County, and then we can start helping them. But there is something called an ICT, an intercounty transfer, that if someone who is unhoused, they need to go through that process. And we can point them in the direction, and once they are Santa Clara County, we can help them.
Yeah, I think I said country by mistake, so apologize, it's county.
And no
Thank
problem.
you for answering that question. There's another question. Does your tool list permanent supportive housing in Santa Clara County?
No, it does not, because that is a separate, so that's a very, very good question, by the way. So our Find Affordable Housing tool is affordable to people who have jobs and an income, but it's still not affordable to everybody who has a job and an income. So when somebody is making well below the, and I can't think of the 2025 poverty level, they probably are going to not be able to afford anything in the affordable housing list, in which case our volunteers can also do the vulnerability index, the VI-SPDAT assessment, and then we will follow all the protocols to find out if they qualify and would be eligible for permanent supportive housing. And then we work with the county on that front. And the county, you may have noticed it in my 2024 numbers, 91% of the clients that we helped house in 2024 were through permanent supportive housing and rapid rehousing and HUD-VASH. So we work extensively with the county. We never say we housed someone. We always say we helped house, because it is truly the effort. So I really want to highlight into permanent supportive housing.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think that's a question that we already asked, right? Does your tools is permanent housing? I think we have a question in the Q&A. If you think it costs a lot to give people housing compared with cost of the hospitals and prisons.
It's a beautiful question. I don't know how to answer that. I think this is Sherry talking. I don't think we've talked about this amongst United Effort Organization. But yes, helping someone A, to stay in their home, or B, to get a safe roof over their head, it must cost less, but I don't have any data to answer the question. I just, from a human nature perspective, I believe, or a human rights perspective, I believe that.
Yeah. We also have somebody who's raised their hand, so I'm going to allow them to speak so they can ask their question. You could
Can
speak.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and thank you very much for this general presentation. I had wanted to ask about what you guys let me I actually put in the question Q&A, but about which guys estimate will be the answer housing need here in Santa Clara, California, or in Santa Clara County for 2026, and how do you hope to position yourselves with NAMI and organizations where to meet this coming need? And I also asked what partnerships you guys might be seeing or might be helping in order to spread the word about your niches and or to help like facilitate getting people housing. Because I'm one I ask because I also work in the nonprofit space, but I'm interested in what you guys think, how kind of the need might be exacerbated by things such as SNAP and other rising costs of living that seem increasingly to put people out of homes or in
Right.
precarious situation regarding their housing situations.
Right. I'm not sure I heard the first part of your question. I don't know if it was my internet or yours, but it broke up a lot. So I apologize. I may not be answering your question. I heard part of it was about partnerships. We partner with
Yes.
anybody, we'll help them and they help us. Even, for example, I'll say Good Karma Bikes here in San Jose. They provide bikes to people who need to get to work, and whether they're unhoused or extremely low income. So we will refer people to them, and we'll help our clients fill out applications, for example, for a free bike. And likewise, if they have a client who is not getting a lot of success working with their client manager, or their case manager elsewhere, then they'll come to us. And that doesn't, I mean, everybody should take case management from anywhere that will help them. You know, they don't need just one person helping them, but we're happy to be one more person looking out for them. So it kind of works both ways. We work with Hope for the Unhoused, Neighborhood Hands, as I mentioned, Helping Hands Silicon Valley, Reach Silicon Valley is another one, and then Hope's Corner. The guests who go there for
Yep.
services frequently become clients of ours. And there's also partnership on the grant level, I would say. Los Altos Mountain View Community Foundation has been a huge partner, as has El Camino Hospital, the County of Santa Clara, and Destination Home, as well as Silicon Valley Community Foundation and our county supervisor of District 3, Otto Lee, and Fremont Bank, I think, were the other ones. So those are ones that help us. But I think one of your questions was also around SNAP benefits. And yeah, we were scrambling, trying to figure out how to help people. We've never done food ourselves, and we decided we aren't going to start doing food. But we were looking across, you know, seeing that Second Harvest, for example, got some help from the county. We had a list put together where we were sharing with our clients what was the latest on free groceries, where they could find food. We've put a resource list together. We did it last year and we just finished it for this year. Where can they get meals before and on Thanksgiving, for example? So I have a feeling there was something in the first part of your message that I didn't understand. So that's probably, maybe you could re-ask it or send me a note.
No, that pretty much answered. It was more like about how you guys saw yourself, like how you guys see yourself as like kind of meeting that need, and how you might anticipate, like what essentially what us here in the county might be able to do to help you guys meet that need
Oh, great.
in the coming year.
You know, that is a wonderful question because it relates well, our funding. We apply for grants and we're doing a fundraising right now. So money definitely helps, because if we come across someone and they just need a night or two in a motel we can't fund it for very long, but we'll do that. But the biggest thing I say we need are more volunteers who are willing to spend a couple of hours a week, maybe with a particular client or maybe with a particular task that supports many clients. So we are always interested in getting volunteers. It could be on Saturdays. We have a lot of tasks that can be done from home that are helpful. But I would say it's in the area of client management, because while I say we do all this great work in client management, we do, but it's on the shoulders of those 35 clients that I think I showed on the impact screen. It probably comes down to 7 or 10 who are actually doing the day-to-day work of getting clients the support and the help they need. So volunteers, ask people to come and volunteer with us.
Thank you, Michael.
Honored to have it. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, Matthew.
Okay, the next question is, what do estimate in the anticipated housing need here in Santa Clara County for 2026, and how do you hope to position yourself with NAMI um, other organizations in order to meet the need in the coming years? What what partnerships might be helpful in helping you meet your objectives here in Santa Clara County or nationwide?
Oh, that's a very wonderful question. I think some of the help we need is one of my role tasks is to break down some of the very big roles that we have into small tasks. Working with, we recently had a volunteer who said she would help take on, for example, volunteer management and training. So we have put a lot of training material together. We've found it challenging to get volunteers to follow the training. When they do, they say, "Oh, that makes so much more sense." But I think we're getting a lot of people who are used to, showing up at a location and handing out water bottles and food, and that's important, but what we tend to do is a lot more complex. So that is one area. So we need to be more laser focused to simplify aspects of some of the tasks. Now, in terms of what could we do with NAMI, I think if you're speaking with anybody who is in crisis and they're at risk of losing their housing, refer them to us as early as possible. And I know that was a question earlier on, what constitutes as at risk? If they are having a falling out with their family and there's a sense that they may be kicked out, let us know. We're not miracle workers. We can't necessarily fix things overnight, but we can at least start the relationship to figure out what path might be the best for them to find housing. So I think that's one area of partnership. If you have come across people who need the help, we just want you to be aware that we are one more resource for you. And you may come across other nonprofits that you're like, oh, wait a minute, the United Effort should talk to these people because they might be really great at recruiting. Like maybe it's a group that is looking for volunteering to do. That is something else. There's always the need for money. I know you guys are fundraising. There's a lot of Giving Tuesday campaigns going on right now. We use that funding to help with any application fees. There are some apartments that require application fees, and many of our people just don't have the $49 to go through the whole process only to find out they don't get it. And we haven't always had the money to do that. So, we would help people with any money that we raise. There may be folks at NAMI who would be interested in helping with our self-sufficiency program. So that is a new program that we developed. Some of it is based on a model out of a group in Boston called Empath, and it helps people look across 5 pillars in their life that really help people to be able to function more independently. And it started out as a pilot program, and our goal was originally to have 40 clients. We now have, I'm not sure the exact number, I think it might be up around 60 or 65. And we think that is one of the keys, because if you help somebody to become self-sufficient, they start to be able to find the ways to do better in their job, earn more money, save money, reconnect with family. A very common occurrence we've noticed across our clients is many of them are on their own. They don't have emergency contacts, and they've lost touch with their family, sometimes due to a mental illness, sometimes due to a substance dependency. There's many reasons, and we are never here to judge. We're here to point them to resources. But when we can connect somebody with their family and keep working with them on self-sufficiency, when we get volunteers who have social or psychology, social worker degrees or degrees in psychology and that background, it opens so many doors to mentorship.
Great.
I'm sure there's many more. I just don't want
Oh,
to take all
yeah,
your time right now.
absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. We have a couple of more questions here. If someone is participating in a SCC FSP, do they still qualify for your employment services?
Yes, we would try to help them. I mean, I think quite often they need the help anywhere they can get it. So the answer is yes. We would prioritize somebody who is unhoused and doesn't have resources. But when it comes to getting a resume done, there's quite a few of us who can help with that and talk through and maybe help them prepare for interviews, that type of thing. So I am not aware of a reason. I don't think we would turn anyone away.
I see. Okay. How many of your clients are homeless or becoming homeless as a result of the health crisis?
Oh boy, I'm not sure I have the metrics to answer that because that is unfolding as we speak. But that's a really interesting question and one that I think is amongst the KPI that we should be able to do a search for. You know what? Actually, I'm going to back up on that. I don't think we've asked enough clients the reason they become homeless.
Hmm.
It's anecdotal and we've put it in notes. We're in the process. We just did a review of what would we like to have in a revised and a better client management system or case management system. We just put the requirements together and we're spending the next 3 months to try to build out what that would look for. And we did include things like how did they find us and trying to understand what were the top one or two things that led to them being homeless.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have the numbers because we haven't properly collected that data.
Okay, let's see if there are any other questions. I don't see in the chat. Let me check in the Q&A section. Don't see in the Q&A section. Does anyone have any questions? It's already 8:02. So, does anyone have any other questions?
Feel free to follow up on email
Yes.
as well.
Oh, uh, I believe Matthew has another question. Let me see if Matthew wants to be able to ask the
Yeah, thank you,
question.
Shari. Thanks. So yeah, that was my question. Well, like how to follow up with you guys by email regarding like partnerships and stuff like that. For me, I know a few that might be interested in doing either volunteering or donor stuff, and here in the
Great.
Bay, and I wanted to know how best to get in touch with you, as well as I think another question I had was about um the organization's efforts like nationwide and like what partners you guys might be if interested in nationwide, if at that level yet.
So we are not yet at that level. We are really focusing on making a bigger dent within our county. We are small enough still. I don't know what the definition of micro nonprofit, but I think I would call us a micro nonprofit. On the one hand, I can probably say on any given Saturday, we probably have 10 or 15 volunteers, but it's very occasional. And then we have this need for client management. It's that need for client management volunteers that is probably our biggest limiting factor right now. So it's the need to recruit more volunteers. So we are not even thinking nationally. If another county were to come to us and say, look, we want to build this in our county, I think we would be very willing to sit down and talk with them and share what we've built. A lot of it, we're pretty open on our website. So those tools, people can look at it. I'm sure we could, consult with people. But yeah, we are not at the point of thinking nationally. We're just Santa Clara County. And I just put my email.
Okay, got it. And then
Yep.
no, no, go ahead. So I
Oh, I
think
was
you
going to
said you
say I'm
just put your
also,
email.
yeah, in
Go
the
ahead.
chat. And I'm adding, if you want to refer clients for that, I would say use help at theunitedeffort.org. It's a separate email as opposed to sending them the clients to me. I mean, if you send them to me, I will respond. I'll probably forward and get one of our other clients other volunteers to respond. But any clients, help at theunitedeffort.org. If you just want more info, although you can, sending it to me is fine, or info@theunitedeffort.org. So hopefully you can see my emails there, and they're also in the presentation that I'll share.
Matthew, I do see the email. Are you not able to see it? I think the email is only
Yeah.
going to hosts and panelists. So let me just copy paste it for
Okay,
everyone.
great.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, because
Yes,
it
let
didn't
me just
do.
copy paste it. Yeah. And then I'll copy paste the other part too.
And likewise, if any of
Because
you
this
ever
is
see
very
some,
much. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if anyone sees anything that you're like, oh, I clicked on this resource and this page didn't work or something was, let us know. That's how we fix things. Like last year, we got information from YWCA for a shelter that they had for women, and we got everything publicly available from our website. And the day we published, they got in touch with us and said, oh, we made a change and we haven't updated our website. So we immediately made the change on our website. So we just need the information. Even though we have volunteers who are constantly, searching and going through, we miss things, or we haven't gotten to that update, or we didn't have a few volunteers that week. So we always welcome suggestions and updates, and we do what we can.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. If there are no other questions, thank you so much, Sherry, for the lovely presentation and answering all the questions. I think this was very helpful. I'm sure that everyone found this information very helpful. And thank you for all the work that you guys are doing at your organization. And I want to wish you good luck for the fundraising for Giving Tuesday. So I know it's coming up in a few weeks, and so good luck with that as well. And again, like, thank you for joining us this Tuesday evening on a Veterans Day. So appreciate it. And thank you for everyone who's attended today. This is our last general meeting for the year. We'll now see you in the new year. So I just want to wish all of you Happy New Year. I haven't said that. This is the first time I'm saying it. And then we're going to start saying that. So Happy New Year to everyone. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much, Sherry. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.